Hello and welcome back to another edition of BCMG Game Picks. Unfortunately, as you can clearly see, my co-host Steve Reisner cannot make it today. He wishes us the best. My personal opinion is that he's just, sick over the Patriots, which to me is not a real excuse because I'm a Giants fan and I'm here. So take that with what you will. We're gonna go kind of right into it because I don't want to waste too much time. We're already a little bit past our normal starting time. Let's just start looking at these games, shall we? We're gonna go. We're gonna start with which how do I randomize this? Let's go to Vegas Insider and just start from the top down. First game we've got is gonna be do my screen. Okay. Texans Falcons. So in this first game, I think the Falcons have run the most man-to-man defense in the NFL so far, and CJ Stroud's actually been worse against man coverage so far this season, and he hasn't faced much of it. That's another big thing that I kind of want to emphasize here. Houston's only faced one team that runs a lot of man coverage this year, and that was the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens beat Houston 25-9. Now, I know that was week 1. I know that was CJ Stroud's first week and his first career game. I'm not putting too much stock into it. I just think it's worth noting. The other teams that they've played, Jacksonville, Indy, Pittsburgh, they're all zone heavy teams. And Stroud's going to see a lot of man-to-man coverage with A.J. Terrell on his best receiver, Nico Collins, who's kind of been his fallback on almost every drop back. So the Falcons have held teams to a 82.6 passer rating versus man defense here. That ranks 11th in the NFL. The Falcons are second in QB hit percentage so far. They're going to come after Stroud. Stroud's going to have that offensive line worry again. And he's going to have to try and get shorter routes to his receivers who may have trouble getting off of press coverage. And oh wow, the Jacksonville Jaguars have scored again. The Buffalo Bills are officially in peril. AJ Terrell should be on Collins. Last week, Terrell shadowed Calvin Ridley on 90% of his routes. Ridley did have a touchdown, but he had 2 catches the whole day. Only 2 targets as well. In 2022, the list of shadow assignments for AJ Terrell: DK Metcalf, 80% of routes, 4 receptions, 10 targets. Amari Cooper, 82% of routes, 3 targets, 1 reception, 9 yards. Mike Evans, 76% of routes, 5 targets, 4 receptions. Terry McLaurin, 70% of routes, 2 targets, 1 catch, 3 yards. Deontay Johnson, 46% of routes, 3 targets, 0 catches. Hollywood Brown, 56% of routes, 3 catches, 24 yards. AJ Terrell can shut guys down. They actually pretty much rely on him too. With Nico Collins having an average depth of target of 12 yards, Tank Dell having 12.3, Stroud needs these guys to have time to get down the field. They need to be able to create separation. And against zone, you can find open spots. Against man, you have to beat the guy in front of you. I just don't necessarily know if the scoring output's going to be there for Houston. The Texans have pretty much been dead last in rush success rate. Atlanta's the number 1 defense in rush EPA allowed and 13th in success rate allowed. So we've established that the pass game for Houston is going to struggle and that the run game for Houston is going to struggle. I think Houston's projected under 20 points in this game. I think they're at 19.8 on the team totals in terms of the actual straight up projections. Houston might be projected under this number for a reason. Teams coming off of 2 straight underdog wins that are now road dogs of 3 or less with a total of 45 or lower are now 10 and 19 straight up. It's another reason for me to kind of be a little down on the Houston Texans. The Falcons are 2-0 since 2021 as home favorites of 3 or less. I'm going to skip this part really because I'm not going to. This was just part of the research, but I don't like the Falcons in this game because the Texans run a lot of zone and Desmond Ridder has struggled with zone. I don't trust Desmond Ridder. I don't trust this offense after flying to and from London. What I do like is the under 42 for a unit. If you put this is game pick, so I got to take one side. I'm going to take the Falcons. I just think that their run game is easier to control the game with than whatever Houston's going to be dealing with. I could be wrong. Houston could still dominate. I love CJ Stroud. I'm never going to take anything away from him. But I don't think that Houston wins this game. I think their run kind of gets stopped a little short here. Moving on to Panthers-Lions. I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I don't have a play on this one, but if I were to, it would probably be on the Lions. I don't the the thing with Jameer Gibbs being out doesn't bother me. Amon-Ra St. Brown being out definitely bothers me. Shout out my guy. I love him. But I really do think that it's going to be an issue for some of their receivers. With that being said, Carolina's defense is not the one to cause them the problems. So, one second. Sorry, people are asking me for my card while I'm giving my card on Twitter. You can never do enough for people sometimes, you know that. The line at 8.5, 9.5 here. Not really a fan. I don't want to spend too much time on it once again. It's not a game that I think has a lot of exciting potential. It's not a game that I think I see a lot of value in many spots. Like you could make a touchdown prop spot here, I guess. I mean, obviously David Montgomery I think is good for one, maybe two, but I doubt his value is really there. I don't think there's any real value on Josh Reynolds. I think it'd be more so on Sam Laporta to get into the end zone than anybody else. But I'm not necessarily sure how Carolina does against tight ends. And I think the game script's going to favor more of a running style for Detroit. So for the purposes of game picks, Detroit, not taking it in terms of an official bet, though. You'll know when I say one of those. Next game we are going to is Giants Dolphins. So here's the deal. I have banned myself from betting on the Giants for the rest of the season. I can't look at it objectively. I don't think we're going to win this game. I don't know how else to say it. I don't think we're going to win this game. But in terms of covering the spread, I also don't think we're going to do that. I do think that if the Giants somehow find a way to win this game, I will get very lucky in my survivor pool because I refuse to pick against the Giants, and I'm sure everybody is taking the Dolphins. But I think the Dolphins win and cover in this game. The Giants, we just don't have the secondary to deal with these speed receivers. We don't have the pass rush to make it hard enough for these receivers to get downfield in time. We don't have the offense to really push the limits of the Miami defense, even though I think we should. Saquon's out. Andrew Thomas is out. The funny thing is I can list all these reasons, and now the Giants are going to like somehow win this game, and that's hilarious to me. But yeah, I'm still not going to take them. I can't do it. I can't force myself to do it. That's how bad it is. I can't even force myself into it. Next one, we got Patriots and Saints. Did I miss a game? I did. I missed Titans Colts because I was like, I see 4 o'clocks around the corner there. Titans Colts is a game I actually have quite a bit on, so I really should get to it. So first of all, Tennessee, I've been wrong on twice. I've been right on twice. So give or take there. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like going 50-50 on teams, but I do think I have a pretty good handle on where this line is at. So Tier Tart being out and Luke Gifford being out for that Tennessee defense is sort of significant. Bernard Raymond being out for the Colts is more significant, and it's the reason why this isn't a full 3 unit. You'll see what when I get to it, but the Shaq Leonard injury, I don't think is as big a deal as people think. He's been playing really poorly in the last 2 weeks with this injury. I think it's actually better for them that he sits out here. Everyone talks about Mike Vrabel being good as a home dog. I was wrong last week. He won as a home dog. Good for him. As a road favorite, they're 3-5-1 against the spread when he is the coach. Teams that won by 10 or more 2 games ago, and then that lost by 10 or more 2 games ago, and then won by 10 or more last game, and are now divisional road favorites, are 20, 30, and 1 against the spread. It's the same defense that Tennessee ran last season. Same defensive coordinator, same team. Same offensive coordinator for the Eagles last year is now the head coach for the Colts. The Eagles last year, and I promise this all ties together, the Eagles last year won 35-10 against Tennessee. It wasn't even close. A.J. Brown had like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. They blew them out of the water. Well, how'd they do it? It was a Shane Steichen system with a mobile quarterback who threw for a lot of yardage and 10 yards per attempt, and he threw it to his tall and strong outside receiver who had an advantageous matchup. Now, Shane Steichen offense, Anthony Richardson, mobile quarterback, Michael Pittman, tall, strong wide receiver. I know, listen, There's a lot of different things about it. The offensive line is different. Just the whole talent of the team is different. But I think a lot of this still rings true in terms of an offensive coordinator sees a defense, he knows how he wants to attack it, and he does. So in this situation, yes, I mean, I still believe the Colts have the offensive weapons to get it done. They've scored a decent amount of points in almost every game. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I'll pull them up if it's very important. But yeah, they scored 23 against the Rams. They scored 22 against the Ravens. Very good defense. 31 against the Texans and 21 against the Jaguars. Like, this is a team that can score points. I don't see why they're expected not to all of a sudden in this situation. It's also a perfect buy low, sell high spot for me. Tennessee coming off a huge win against the Cincy team at home. Now they're going on the road, but they're already 0-2 in their first divisional game this season. Sorry, 0-2 on the road, and they're in their first divisional game of the season. I wanted to make sure that was separated. I am scared of Derrick Henry. He's owned this matchup historically. He's ran for over 100 yards in 6 of his last 7 games against the Colts. With that being said, this is the worst offensive line he's had. Also, he's hit 80 and 122 yards in 2 of his last 3 games. So why is his rushing total at 75.5 in a team against a team that he's normally dominated? That's something I think is worth noting. Indy is 10th in yards per rush. They have Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner sitting in the middle. Zaire Franklin's probably playing a big role at middle linebacker. He's a great tackler. And Tennessee gets most of their success off of power runs. Indy's 11th in power success rate allowed. In terms of buying low, Indy almost pulled off that comeback last week. Didn't do it. They went down 20. They're now hungry. They're in a divisional win. They need a divisional win. They lost week 1 against the Jaguars. If the Jaguars again next week, they're hungry for revenge because this is the same Colts team. Whether or not it's the same quarterback or coach, most of the roster has been here since last year. They've lost, I believe, 5 straight to the Titans. The Colts have also lost 6 straight home games. They haven't won a home game in almost a full calendar year. There's a lot of bulletin board material for the Colts here. For the Tennessee defense to be effective, usually they get pressure. With that being said, Anthony Richardson's been exceptional under pressure so far, and he's actually struggled more with a clean pocket. The quarterbacks that Tennessee has faced, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, all pocket passers, those are the guys they got pressure on. The guy they didn't get pressure on, Deshaun Watson, because he's mobile. Once you escape the pocket, you force those corners to play extended coverage, and they're bad. And that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, why the Titans lost 27-3 to the Browns. So I think we're going to see a lot of rollouts and bootlegs. I think the addition of Jonathan Taylor to this offense adds another threat to the middle that forces the defense to account for both sides. And then I like I worry about the fact that the Colts don't get much pressure, but I like their pass rushers against the bad offensive line. DeForest Buckner, Samson Ebukam, and Grover Stewart, all solid getting the quarterback. Buckner and Stewart are going against Aaron Brewer at center and Dylan Redunz at guard, unless Skoronski comes back, but he's not. I don't know if he's fully healthy. Redunz and Brewer are just awful. Tannehill can't scramble, so pressure up the middle is going to kill him, and he's already bad under pressure. Now, another reason why I didn't make this a huge play is Richardson struggled a little more versus zone than as versus man. Tennessee runs a lot more zone than they do man, but they haven't been great at defending in zone. So I'm going to take that with a little bit and decrease my unit size a little bit there, but not to a huge degree. So I'm playing the Colts on the spread for 1.5 units, and I'm playing the Colts on the money line for a half unit. I'm also playing, here we go with the touchdowns, Anthony Richardson, anytime touchdown, plus 135. And Anthony Richardson, first touchdown, plus 750. 0.25 units. Now, I want to preface this by saying Michael Pittman could easily get the first touchdown here on one of those broken play passes. I'm expecting Richardson in the red zone to be kind of forced out of the pocket with the pressure up the middle, escape, run it in. So, okay, I was about to say, what did they call that touchdown back? So I like the Colts in this game. I like Richardson in this game. I like Pittman in this game. So moving on to, I already said Giants, Dolphins. Screw that game. Saints, Patriots. This game made me want to vomit while I was looking at it. straight up. It's going to be a disgusting, disgusting game. But there can't be a more disgusting game than the one that the Patriots played last week. That was, first of all, hand up, bad bet. Bad bet. All me. Sorry about that. But that doesn't mean we can just rule him out of every game. Mac Jones was terrible last game. He was under too much pressure to compete. However, when he's a clean pocket, he is better than Derek Carr by a long shot. Carr's actually better under pressure than he is with a clean pocket. Saints don't get pressure. They're 27th in pressure percentage, 25th in blitz percentage. So Jones is going to have time to throw. So I'm expecting the Mac Jones with a 90-something passer rating against in a clean pocket. The Saints have also now gone on a total in 5 straight games. The Patriots have gone on a total in 3 straight games. This is the type of game the Patriots can win. Also, the Saints have played against Tampa, Green Bay, Carolina, Tennessee, all arguably below average teams. The Patriots have played Dallas, Jets, Dolphins, and Eagles. The only team that you can say is maybe not an elite team in that group is the Jets, and they beat the Jets. This is a break for the Patriots, whereas for the Saints, it's part of their schedule. This is a break in the schedule, pretty much, for the Patriots. The Patriots are 10-7 against the spread as home favorites off of one or more since 2020. 8-5 when it's at or at least after week 4. When the total is 43 or less, they are 7-1 straight up, 6-2 against the spread, 6-0 straight up when you make the line negative. Jesus, I'm tired. 8 under. 8 under. I'm not playing golf either. -8 or closer to 0, and 2-0 when you make it a non-divisional game. Saints run the 4th most man coverage, though. Mac Jones does struggle versus man, so I am worried about that. The Saints' offense, not good. They're 29th in yards per play, 19th in third down conversion percentage, 32nd in red zone scoring percentage, and 23rd in yards per game. This is a kind of like a beat 'em up, low scoring game that I think Belichick can win. Carr is banged up. His blind side's going to struggle with Trevor Penning out. Trevor Penning sucking. Andres Pete likely being out with a concussion. The Patriots are at home with their backs against the wall. Mac Jones in a more favorable spot than he's been in any other week, and his back's against the wall. I'll take the Patriots -1 for a unit. Steve, I'm letting you know right now, if the Patriots lose this game, they're on my no bet list. Straight up, that's simple. On the list. Moving on to Ravens Steelers. This is a game I don't want to bet. I'm not going to go over it that much. It's not a game I feel comfortable really betting on. The Ravens have looked unstoppable. The Steelers have looked like an easily movable object. The line's only 4.5. It's a divisional game. The Steelers are at home. There's just so many factors of this that go either way. Like game pick wise, I'm gonna be picking the Ravens. But in terms of like how much analysis I can really do here, I feel like it almost would be doing a disservice to the rivalry that is this game because other matchups don't really necessarily matter. This is a different matchup. These teams play differently when they play each other. 4.5 is kind of big. A lot of people already on Pittsburgh. I'll go with the Ravens anyway. I'm not confident in it. I feel like this is one of those classic setup games for the public. But I'm not betting on it personally. I wouldn't recommend you do either. That's just my personal take on the matter. I do like that Odell Beckham Jr. is back though. Moving to the 4:00 games. Bengals, Cardinals. I like the Cardinals in this one. I really do. I've been on the Bengals a couple times before. I just kind of have to accept that they're not good right now. Both teams are 1-3. The Cardinals have looked good at home. They beat the Dallas Cowboys at home. They lost to the Giants by 3 after crazy comeback. The Cardinals have scored 6. Sorry, not Cardinals. Jesus. I'm telling you, man, the 4 hours of sleep thing does not help. The Bengals have scored 6 total points on the road this year. 6 total points on the road. Arizona is a team that's dominating the game by run when they do. When they're doing well, they're second in yards per rush versus the 30th ranked defense in that category in Cincy. Arizona is also 11th in sack percentage and gets pressure on 31% of snaps despite blitzing the 5th least of any team. They're 5th in hurry percentage as well. Joe Burrow not only is struggling a lot more under pressure, but he's struggling to move around in the pocket. I think Jonathan Gannon's going to have a lot of different blitz schemes set up for him. Pause for a smoke break. because I'm dying here. So Cincinnati's run a lot more man than they do zone so far this year. Josh Jacobs has been really good against man coverage. And his receivers have been too. Hollywood Brown has a 123 passer rating when targeted in man coverage. Michael Wilson is a 151. Wilson's going to be lined up with Cam Taylor-Britt if Taylor-Britt plays, and if not, he's going to be lined up with a backup. Taylor-Britt has allowed 19.5 yards per reception to wideouts. Since he's not only 26th in EPA per rush allowed, they're 24th in passing in EPA per pass allowed. They've faced 4 ferocious defenses, so I'm a little skeptical about how the Arizona defense is going to hold up. But I'm confident the Arizona run game performs. And I think if the run game performs, it's going to allow their pass game to flourish with some of the defensive backs after Cincy and Cincy playing a lot of man coverage. With Arizona also getting pressure, I think it's going to make it tough for Joe Burrow as he's dealing with the calf injury again. T. Higgins also dealing with an injury. And while Arizona's defensive stats may not look great, they've played Dallas and San Francisco in the last 2 weeks, and those two offenses will put a dent in your stats. Since he's 0-3-1 against the spread this year, I understand that models keep themselves where they are and adjust to what they want, regardless of past performance or what everyone else may feel about it. At some point, though, I feel like we have to acknowledge something might be wrong here. And Arizona's a team that's performed well at home. They perform well against Vegas. They have a good matchup for their scheme, and they can get pressure on injured QB, and there's reverse line movement on them. I have Cardinals plus 3.5, minus 115 for a unit and a half at PointsBet. Now, before I go any further, I have told all of my followers time and time again, do not go to PointsBet. I do not like PointsBet. I do not have this play at PointsBet. I am simply trying to get the best line for people or tell people what their best option is for the line. PointsBet is a poorly run sportsbook with very quick limits and pretty poor customer service. But if you were able to get a bet down there, if you don't have trouble getting bets down there, then this is the place to take it because they're the only place with 3.5, or they were at the time of me writing this write-up. I also like the Cardinals at the money line, plus 145 for a half unit. I like James Conner anytime touchdown, plus 107 for 0.75 units at Caesars. I think that they are going to run the ball no matter what, even if they don't win this game. And wow, the Jaguars just upset the Bills in London. Michael Wilson, anytime touchdown, plus 270, 0.5 units. That's going to do it for that game. But that's a hefty amount of bets for you there. Now we have the Eagles-Rams. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this game either because there are too many unknowns. Is Matt Stafford's hip okay after last week? How many snaps is Cooper Kupp going to play? Is Cooper Kupp going to play every snap? Is Cooper Kupp going to be impactful? Are they going to man him up? Or are they going to zone him up? Because I know the Eagles like to run a lot of man. The Eagles haven't played phenomenally in the last couple weeks. So if you're giving me 4 at home with the Rams, I'm actually going to probably take it. That's what I'll do for the game pick here. But in terms of I would not take the Eagles in a survivor pool today. I would not take the Eagles pretty much anywhere. Just and they could end up winning this game by 30, but the Rams have a better defense than people think. And the Eagles have not been playing really great. Cooper Kupp is back. Puka Nacua now has more open space for him with Cooper Kupp taking up some of it. I'll take the Rams. I'll take the Rams in this game pick here. That was kind of a snap decision because I was deciding not to have one at the time. Jets, Broncos. This feels like a trap to me. I'm going to take the Jets, even though I feel like it's a trap. I understand that the Broncos. You know what? No, I'm not even going to say it's a trap. Yeah, it's a trap because the Jets shouldn't be underdogs here. I understand the Broncos are coming had their first win. I understand the Jets lost on kind of a short week with Sunday Night Football being the case. But this Jets defense is way better than the Broncos offense. The Broncos offense has only succeeded against the Bears. The Broncos defense is one of the worst defenses I have seen in recent memory. And just for some, I don't want to say for some reason because there's always a reason, but I just really don't understand this line. I think that the Jets, I think it should be more of a pick 'em, seeing it's on the road. I think on a neutral field, I'd have the Jets by 2. And the Jets are getting a lot of public love, so I'm sure that's part of the trap. But at the same time, I don't trust anything about this Denver defense. I don't trust really anything about this Denver offense. It's average. It's not bad. Believe it or not, like they have some numbers that will make you be like, I didn't know that their offense wasn't that terrible. Fact of the matter is, Jets defense is still strong. I am worried about GJ Reed being out. That does kind of worry me in that scenario, but I'll still take the Jets in this game. I think that opening up the field last week with Zach Wilson was good, not only for him, but for them, because it makes other teams have to account for that in their defensive planning. I don't think teams were otherwise going to be planning for Zach Wilson to be airing the ball out, but now you kind of have to be like, okay, well, he just did that against a top-tier pass defense. So is the game over? The Jaguars officially – oh, wow. Bill's still coming. This is a crazy game. But, yeah, at a certain point, I'm taking the Jets and I'm riding with it. Like it's a scenario where I do not trust either team, but I trust one team slightly more, and that team is getting points. So I'll take those points. I'll take the Jets plus 2.5, even though it's uniform across almost every book, which is never a good sign. That means they're all dead set on one spot. Chiefs Vikings. I got 2 words. Strap in. I got 6 bets on this game for you guys. All right. Now, the Minnesota Vikings are going to win this football game. That is my take here. A lot of people like the Chiefs here. I get it. Vikings 1-3. Chiefs are the Chiefs. But if you saw my tweet last week, I think Patrick Mahomes is hurt. I think Patrick Mahomes has a problem with his right foot. I think it's a slightly sprained ankle, and I don't think they're telling anybody. If you watch that game against the Jets, Patrick Mahomes refused to plant on that back foot after the first touchdown. Refused. He was throwing on every single way he could besides planting off his back foot. As a result, some of the passes were lofted, sailed, didn't have enough zip. And he threw 2 picks. Then the Jets started blitzing him up the middle because the Jets realized he's not scrambling. He's not moving. He's not planting. Let's put pressure on him. He didn't even step up in the pocket. He refused to scramble. I think something is wrong with that right foot of Patrick Mahomes. I don't think they want anybody to know it because I think he wants to play through it. But Vegas knows something because reverse line movement is on the Vikings. And the Vikings are at home with their season on the line. Their win last week was not convincing. But let me tell you why I'm convinced here. Patrick Mahomes struggled under pressure so far this season. His passer rating under pressure is a 69. The Vikings blitz on 60% of snaps this season. In terms of completion percentage against the blitz, Mahomes is 29th out of 36 qualified quarterbacks. He is behind Justin Fields and in front of Zach Wilson. As good as we give the Chiefs credit for, they have not been good this year. They lost to Detroit at home. They beat Jacksonville by 8, but they only scored 17 points. They beat up on a bad Chicago team at home, and they barely escaped over the Jets. If you look past name value here, Jesus, if you look past name value here, I like the Vikings. Justin Jefferson is playing against. This is a Chiefs team that runs the fifth most man coverage in the NFL. Kirk Cousins has a 130 passer rating versus man this season. Justin Jefferson has a 149 passer rating when targeted against man coverage this year. Jordan Addison has a 134.5 passer rating when targeted in man coverage this year. Justin Jefferson's on the side of L'Jarius Sneed, who's not been good in man coverage this year. Last season in man coverage, he allowed 11.4 yards per reception in man coverage. The Vikings are 18-9 when Jefferson has 100 or more receiving yards. They are 15-8 when he scores a touchdown. This is Kirk at 1 p.m. This is a Chiefs team with, I think, a secretly injured quarterback. A Chiefs team that hasn't shown up very well, but hasn't had to pay for it. A Vikings team with their season on the line, and a defense that's blitzing like there's no tomorrow while staying in zone coverage. I think the Chiefs get thrown off. I think they get punched in the mouth in this game, where nobody seems to be expecting them to. And I think the Vikings show why they believe that they are still alive this season. Vikings plus 3.5 for 2 units. Vikings money line 1 unit. Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown 1 unit. Justin Jefferson 2 touchdowns, 1/4 of a unit. Justin Jefferson first touchdown, 1/4 of a unit. Jordan Addison anytime touchdown, 0.5 units. That is a big one for me, and I'll stake myself on it. Cowboys 49ers, the last game of the night. I don't want to give away too much on this one because I'm actually going to do another stream tonight before the game to go over it. So please tune back in for that if you are able to. We're going to be right back on this channel. I think the 49ers have a good shot, but there are a couple factors that are kind of holding me back from making a big play on it. And I will tell you guys about those factors when we get to our pregame stream for Sunday Night Football. That will be happening probably about 7:30, 7:45. Everybody tune in for that. We're going to get the first touchdown score just like we've done for several other primetime games this season. I'm very excited for today's card. I'm a little nervous. A lot of underdogs. Got the Colts, got the Cardinals. But I'm into it, and the Vikings, but I'm into it. So we will see you guys later tonight, hopefully, for my pre-Sunday Night Football stream that I'm going to be trying out for the first time this week. Would love for you guys to be there, and if you're not, then I'll see you next week with Steve. This has been the game pick section for BCMG. I'm Sam Hiller from the Source Podcast. You can find me at Source Podcast 11 on Twitter. And thank you guys very much. Have a good Sunday, guys. Let's watch some football.